Hey everybody. Back so soon. Wanted to do a review of the new Lionel Visionline Big Boy, specifically number 4019. There's a lot of different versions, so normally I would probably skip doing a review just because usually one engine's kind of all the same, maybe with different colors. But with the Visionline, because there's so many different road numbers and different specifications, I figured why not show the 4019 and just kind of go over some of my opinions on it. I'm not going to do a full review, but just kind of gloss over some things, show you some features, compare it to the 4017 that I have from 2014, and show you some sounds, and then have it running around the layout for you with some clips just to show you the features and see what the engine's all about. So with that, let's dive in and take a closer look. Before we get started on too many of the details, I just do want to note that I have started customizing this engine to my liking. I haven't done everything that I'm going to do to it, but I just want to make sure people realize that other 4019s won't look exactly like this because, like I said, I've already started customizing. What I've done so far is I've blackened out the front wheels. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to blacken out these rims. I have blackened out the center pins, and the only other thing I've done is the tender. Any of the time I get one of these tenders with the wood grain decking, I usually put some wood tone to it, and yeah, that way you don't get confused as to, hey, my 4019 doesn't have that. No, it shouldn't, because I did this myself. It's really fun to do, especially the wood grain. You can do that with Challengers and any other of these centipede style tenders. So I just wanted to clarify that before we got started. All right. All right, to get started, the reason I picked the 4019 was pretty kind of obvious a little bit, just because it has these smoke deflectors. I think that's a neat feature, especially because they are removable. I think that's a great touch by Lionel to do that. Also, I like that they have these after coolers, I believe these are called, up here and not in the front. My 4017 has that as well. I just prefer that look. I like a little bit busier up front. Also, my other engine, the the rods are silver. On this one, the rods have been darkened. So I really like that look. This one is definitely going to be more of that, I guess you would say, meaner looking of my two big boys, whereas my other one I designed to look like the one that's on display, the 4017, which I believe is not in display in Wisconsin. So this one I'm going to darken things. Maybe someday I might even weather this engine. I'm not sure. But those were the main reasons I went with this one. I do like the Greyhound colors as well, but I figured when you're spending this kind of money, you should just sometimes play it a little safer. Again, there's no wrong answer with these. They're all going to be fun to run, to put different consists behind. This was just the way I decided to go with this one. If I could have gotten two of these, I probably would have gotten this one and a Greyhound, or this one and the glossy one. But the budget was only for one this year. So that's really what I just wanted to touch on. Those were the main reasons I went with this version. Okay, I'm not going to go too in depth on the features and the details. I'll just do a slow kind of gloss over of the details of the big boy. Another nice thing is they do have these lights when the engine goes on, and they are on up until I believe speed step 19. I did also add some red to these hand valves, and also over here. If you look at pictures of the real big boy, most of these are painted actually red. Lionel does not paint those red. So I just go in there with like a mild red, nothing too bright. Actually, their red on these wheels that they do is brighter than the red that I put here. If you look at the top, this does open. Open that up. I have always liked the green inside. I think that's interesting, kind of brightens it up in there. What I like about these tenders specifically, I believe the Visionline ones are the only ones that have it. You can see the wheels up in here as well as down below. I think the Challenger and everyone else, this is all solid. You can only see the wheels down here. It's more pronounced on my other one because I had put the white walls on, so you can see the white walls up in here. The other side's pretty much the same. You can hear my lighthouse in the background and the seagulls. Yeah, nice looking front. All right. I think she looks really good. So let's get into pretty much my straight up opinion on these. I can only go by this version. I can't speak on some of the other ones. So far, the performance on this has been not 100% perfect. I will say that. With the running, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but sometimes it'll surge a little bit, almost like it'll get like a little bit of interference. It'll speed up or start just slowing down on its own. And I'm not sure, but it seems to not be an issue when I take the smoke deflectors off. So I'm wondering if maybe they're causing some sort of slight interference if they're not on there perfectly fine. I can't say that's what it is, so don't hold me to that. But that and really just the smoke for the pop-off valve sometimes can clog quite easily. So a lot of times you will have to lightly blow down to kind of clear out any bubbles. You also don't want to put too much smoke fluid in any of these. The front smokestack, because it supplies the whistle and the smokestacks, it hasn't been as much of an issue. But really, the blowdown and the pop off. I mean, if you need more than 20 drops, you probably are overdoing it, and they'll work pretty well for a while without having to refill. When it's running well, it runs very well. It's oiled. There's no lurching or anything like that. It just goes nice momentum, stops, starts. Everything smokes really well. The blowdown you'll see when it's going around in the videos later. The blowdown, the pop off, the smokestack, the whistle, they all produce a good amount of smoke. As far as would I recommend this engine? If Even if you can't run this engine, if you can get it at a good price and you know someday you might want to be able to run this engine, I would recommend it. I know Lionel will probably do this again, but I just don't know when. So depending upon how old you are in the hobby, like I said, I have the one from 2014, and I got that. Luckily, it was still in stores 2015, 2016. I was still able to get one in stores. Nowadays, engines like this don't stick around as long at retail stores. So if you can get one, you have the means to get one, and you're debating getting it, even if you're debating it, I recommend you just get it. You're not going to regret the things you do in life. You're usually going to regret the things you didn't do. So it's definitely a good engine, fun engine. My kids, especially my two boys, they know this engine. And I have almost roughly 20 engines now. I ask them every day, what do you want to run? They say, Big Boy. So I tell them we can't run it all the time because it gets tired, but they pick this engine 9 times out of 10 to run. And I have some engines with interesting colors and things like that. They just like this engine. It's big, it's loud, smoke comes out of everywhere. It's definitely got high playability. You just got to take care of them, maintain them, and keep them clean, and they should run a long time for you. From delivery, there were just a few small issues out of the box. The magnets that hold the smoke deflectors in place were loose. They popped out of their spots on the walkways. They were stuck to the drive wheels. It was a very easy fix. Just pop them back in, and they were fine. I didn't even have to glue them in or anything like that. They just stuck to the walkway because they were metal. I guess in transit they were jostled around and fell out. So with that being said, I guess we'll get into maybe just what my favorite feature is. It's probably going to be the pop-off valve, I would have to say, just because my other one doesn't have it. With these big boys, though, I do find that I enjoy the blowdown smoke a lot. I think that's just a cool feature whenever you can get smoke shooting out. I mean, anytime you have multiple spots shooting upward on an engine is good too, but you don't see it as often with smoke shooting outwards on these engines. Just like with the GS Visionlines, where the cylinder steam was reciprocating and it was shooting it out. It's just a little something that looks, you know something is special there. Something special is going on. So I'm going to say the pop-off valve for this engine, but for big boys in general, the blowdown is probably the best feature when it's working well, um, to have going around, to really enjoy the engine. My least favorite thing of this engine, that's really hard to say. There's not too much not to like about it. I guess it would be the overhang on the curves. I mean, it just is what it is with that. It's a big engine. It's an articulated engine. I have 072. I don't have, 096 or whatever it is. It's going to have big overhang. You just got to deal with it. So, yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments. It's a great engine. If you have one, I'm sure you love it. If you've always wanted one, like I said, if you can get them, get your hands on it while you can, because it could be another 10, maybe 15 years before that chance happens. So will they do it again? Yes. Well, you might have to wait 10 years, 12 years, 15 years for a Visionline version? Maybe. All right, so that'd be my words of wisdom on that. All right, so let's hear some sound comparisons between the 2014 version and the new version of the Visionline Big Boy. So first up, we'll do the old version. And now we'll do the new version. They sound moving forward and backwards. And you have to remember that the new one doesn't have the ability to change the labor from the remote. It's the force coupler determining how hard the chuck is. I picked the whistle that is the closest on the new Big Boy to the old Big Boy for a fair comparison. This is whistle number 4 on the new one. This is the one I prefer using. And we'll compare it to the old whistle. So let us know in the comments which one you think sounds better. They're pretty close to me. The only thing is I can't control the labor rate, as I aforementioned, because of the forced coupler on the new one. One of the great parts about this engine is it's kind of like you get 2 for 1. We just take that off. Take that off. And just like that, we have a different looking engine. It's a 2 for 1. I love it. There's removable deflectors from Lionel. I like this. Good touch.
Terminal brakeman, UP4019. We have good initial terminal brake test on timetable train number 1. Over.
That's a Roger. 4019 has good initial terminal brake test on timetable train number 1. Out. engine 4019 to the tower. Are we cleared through the